All right, everyone, we're going to get started. I'm just going to wait on a cue from Sean Hill. We got the thumbs up. If you're coming in the front door, grab a seat, make yourselves comfortable. Good evening and welcome to Port Royal Elementary in the heart of the town of Port Royal. The Beaufort County School District for granting us use of this space today for the 2025 Port Royal Forum. Thank you to all of you who are in attendance, and thank you to our candidates for all participating today. This forum may be watched online through both the town and the Chamber's live stream Facebook page and will be posted to the Beaufort County channel. I'm Megan Morris, president of the Beaufort Regional Chamber of Commerce, and I have the honor of moderating this year's candidate forum. The purpose of tonight's forum is to introduce you, the voters, to the candidates standing for election in the town of Port Royal on Tuesday, November 4th. We want the community to have an opportunity to hear candidates' thoughts on top local issues. Tonight's forum is a panel question format. Each candidate will have 90 seconds to respond to the questions asked by our panel. They will take turns. They drew for the order in which they will respond this evening. This is not a debate. Candidates may not ask questions of or speak directly to each other. Each candidate is allowed up to two 30-second rebuttals that they may use during the forum if they'd like to make an additional point. All questions will come from the panel, and all questions were set by the panel just a short while ago. No questions were shared in advance with any candidate or campaign. Tonight's three panelists were chosen by the Chamber. They each represent themselves only. The diverse group of panelists tonight are Tia Ackermore, Corporate Case Manager and Hospital Liaison for Springer Healthcare Systems, and a member of the Chamber's Board of Directors. Jim Ripper, owner of Strickland Brothers 10-Minute Oil Change and a Chamber Ambassador. And Graham Summerall, an account executive with Sparklight, and a past chair of the Chamber Board of Directors. I'd also like to acknowledge and recognize Mark Cutler, Senior Vice President and Senior Relationship Manager for Coastal States Bank, the current chair of the Chamber's Board of Directors, and he helped oversee the process this afternoon as the panelists devised the questions. My job as moderator is to keep everything on track and on time with help from our timekeeper. Each candidate will begin with 2 minutes for opening statements and then close with 2 minutes for closing remarks. When you introduce yourself, please include what you think makes you a qualified candidate for town council. We've asked candidates to keep their responses brief so that we can cover more topics tonight. For those of you in the room, we ask that you listen respectfully and refrain from applause or outbursts, except at the beginning and at the end. Without further delay, let's begin tonight's forum. These are the three candidates running for 2 open seats and 4-year terms on Port Royal Town Council. Thank you all for your willingness to serve. In alphabetical order, and ironically the order they drew tonight, we have Mary Beth Gray Hayward, Daryl Owens, and Angie Tillman. Please give them a round of applause. So we begin tonight with opening remarks. Mary Beth, would you like to get us started?
I will. Thank you so much. My name is Mary Beth Gray Hayward, and I'm a candidate for re-election for Port Royal Town Council. I'm a mother to one beautiful daughter, Jennifer. I have 3 grandsons, Chandler, Landon, and Hunter. 2 beautiful great-grandchildren, Sutton Gray and Summer Grace. I'm very proud of them, and I'm a lifetime resident of the town of Port Royal. I actually went to school here at Port Royal Elementary School, and my father did, as he grew up in Port Royal also. I'm proud to be a citizen of the town of Port Royal. I've served for 34 years on the town council. I came out in 1992. I decided that I wanted to do something to help my community, and so I came and decided that I would run for town council. I did, and I got the top vote, and my whole thing was I wanted and I've been the voice of the people for the last 34 years. I think it's a great thing. We've done a lot in our community. I'm hoping that we'll continue to do things. We've done stuff like the short-term rental ordinance has been passed. We got one of the tree ordinance, which is one of the strictest in the state, I believe. We got the bridge at the Sands. We got the Spanish Moss Trail that came across. And that's all due to what we do at Town Council. We've worked and negotiated with Safe Harbor. Safe Harbor has given us the promenade deck so that the people have access to the water. And we also have green space. We've also got the shrimp docks coming back, and that was based on the fact that our legislators got money for us to help rebuild that. And I'm proud to be the voice of the people for the last 34 years, and I'm proud that the people had the confidence and the trust in me to put me back into office for those years. Thank you.
Daryl?
Thank you, and good evening to each of you. I'm Daryl Owens. I am a native of Beaufort County. I was born and raised on St. Helena Island, and I relocated to Port Royal in 1996. I'm a lifelong educator in the school systems in both Beaufort, Jasper, and Chatham County. I've served on council for 8 years, so I'm concluding my second term. I've served on various boards and commissions prior to my being elected to council. I have 3 wonderful children. One is a professional basketball player, the other is in the Air Force, and my daughter, a culinary graduate that now works at one of our local establishment here for residential care. What qualifies me? I'm a listener. We had a list of to-dos, could-dos, and should-dos, and we heard the people. I advocate for the people. We listen to the people. We have accomplished a lot in the last 4 years of my term. We've entered a moratorium and pumped the brakes on multifamily units, so forth, so that we can give us the opportunity to revisit our codes and look at our codes. And then we extended that moratorium for another 6 months so that we can just take our time and modify our codes and strengthen our codes. We are a pedestrian-friendly community. Last year we added 1 mile of sidewalks. We've resurfaced all of our streets and so forth so that we can promote walkability and camaraderie with our neighbors and so forth. And I feel that I would like to continue to see the work continue that you have tasked us with.
Angie?
My name is Angie Tillman, and yes, y'all know that I'm a new resident here. Most people do. Like, I'm new. I'm not, so I'm going to sound a lot different. I have wanted to be here for years and years and years. I started a business in 2008 from scratch off my front porch with the honor system, where I would put pickles out on my front porch in Athens, Georgia, to save our family. We were losing everything. My husband was a builder in 2008 during the recession. And people laughed at me all the time. I have 3 children, little bitty, that couldn't talk, would play with vinegar jugs all day, like they were toys, slept with vinegar jars in her bed at night, like they were babies. And just that's all she knew, was like, this is what Mama does. We put pickles out on the porch. We put a little sign up that would say, this is, how much they cost today. I put it on Facebook. I pickled 12 jars of beans today. And it became huge. It became huge because when I got into stores, I only sold to small businesses, only small businesses. And so that's my platform, is supporting small businesses. I never would go big box. And if I'm on this council, I won't allow big box in Port Royal, not here in the village. But the village is not all of what Port Royal is. We start at the base of the McTier Bridge. We go down Waddell to Brimsley Circle. I've met the people that live there. I love them. We go through that. We meander over here to the village. We go down Rebo Road across the Russell Bell Bridge that I live on. We go out to Grover Hill, to Shadow Moss. There are new families out there that are not in this room. I don't see enough young people here right now. There are young families here that are brand new, just like me, raising their children here, that want to see a vibrant community happen, and not just like, oh, what we've done before. And I know that I can do that because I've done it with my business. I've done it for people that, thank you. 2 minutes is not enough. Yeah.
Would you like to finish your sentence?
2 minutes is not enough for me to share my heart for this place. When people came to my house in Athens, Georgia, they thought that I was from here.
Well,
So for years, we waited till our kids got out of the house.
We have a lot more to cover and more time
Yes.
for you all to share your perspectives. At this point, I'm going to turn it over to the panel to begin taking turns asking their questions. Mary Beth, since you started opening remarks, Daryl, you will go first in answering the question. Angie, you'll go second. Mary Beth, you'll go third, and we'll continue to rotate in that order.
Good evening, candidates. The first question is, if elected, how will you engage residents from all parts of Port Royal and make sure all voices are heard in decision-making and town planning efforts?
Great question. In fact, when we had our council retreat, and it's moderated by a representative from the Municipal Association of South Carolina, and we come up with a list of things that we should do, could do, and things that we're doing. And some of the concerns that we've had also, how do we engage the community? And as a result of that, we decided on a quarterly basis, since they don't come to us, let's go to the community. And so each quarter, we've already had a meeting. We had it at Bridges School that was open on the other side of the bridge, of the Russell Bell Bridge, to afford those people on that side of town an opportunity to come so that we can listen to them and they can see us also. Engaging the people. We have street music and so forth. That's another form of engaging everyone, and we're out there, we're present, we're before them. We listen to them. I tell them, I get approached by people in Piggly Wiggly and they're apologizing for coming to me. I said, don't apologize for coming to me. That's what I'm here for. So engaging the people, we go to the people, we listen to the people, and we respond to their concerns.
Angie?
Again, the young crowd is not really here, so people engage differently these days. And so in 2009, I was the first in Athens, Georgia to form a business page on Twitter. I don't have that business page much anymore because I don't really do that business anymore. But I was the very first to have a business page in Athens, Georgia. I couldn't find anybody. So then I started tweeting to Atlanta people. So I know how to reach the people, where they are, how they communicate. I also have the ability to create an app or use my social media. I'm not afraid for people to ask me questions out there, like a forum situation where everybody can see my thoughts, my heart, everything right there, and you can have a voice just by being able to say what you want to say on my page. My cards that I've been putting out they have a website there, picklechickle.com. It's kind of a silly, website, I guess, but name of it, but it will be a place for people to go with a link where they can talk and be answered. It's fun for me.
Mary Beth?
Yes, I will echo what Mr. Owen said. We've talked about it forever. We wanted to engage our community, and yes, our community is large. We're all over. Port Royal is a family, a whole. We have been to all the different areas. We've met with different peoples. We've tried to get into homeowners association for different areas because a lot of places have homeowners. We've actually volunteered to go and speak with them to see what their needs and all. We're kind of got our hands tied with HOAs. You're not allowed to really do anything because they do it for themselves. But we do engage in our community. One of our things is we want to have a community engagement, but we have to be a part of that and engage. When we do street music or festivals, we want people to come and talk to us. I hear more problems when I'm at those things, and I love it because we can make a difference. And just getting people together, just like we do over at the Casablanca Park, we made them a oyster shed just like we have on our side because we're trying to do the right thing for all areas of Port Royal. Y'all excuse me, my throat tonight. But we want to treat everybody alike because all of you in all the different areas are part of Port Royal, and we love each and every one of you, and we will make sure that your voice is heard as we have on this council. Thank you.
Question number 2.
Hi, welcome, candidates. Port Royal prides itself on being business friendly. two parts to this. Would you be in favor of reducing regulatory requirements to help small businesses succeed and maintain Port Royal's charm? And please elaborate.
Is this to me? Can you repeat? I didn't hear one of the words.
Sure. So Port Royal prides itself on being business friendly. Would you be in favor of reducing regulatory requirements to help small businesses succeed and maintain Port Royal's charm?
Yes, I would be in favor of that if they worked for the small business owner. Like during 2020 in Athens, Georgia, this is, where I come from, they closed everything. I wouldn't have been able to be open, and I think that is wrong. So I got really creative and started doing door-to-door from my house. I went to social media. I formed a group. People ordered so much I could not keep up. I wore the yellow gloves and the mask, and I went door-to-door, delivering to everybody, and everybody was so happy, and it was so well received. So yes, I'm all for it if it actually is in favor of the small business owner.
Mary Beth?
Okay. Yes, I actually host a business breakfast once a year to the business owners because when we bring you there to have breakfast, we want to talk to you. We want to know what made it visible or easy for you to become a part of our community and what we can do to make it better. We want to keep small businesses in town because we don't have areas for big box places in Port Royal. And I think we'd all be in favor of doing what we could, and that's exactly what we're trying to do. I think that if everybody would come to the breakfast and really talk to us once a year, we'll have it, and we could have it more often if we think that that would help. But we're all in favor of that, yes. Thank you.
Twofold, of course, the small businesses that we have, of course, I always support them. I go out, I tag them, get the word out, because, you have to look at other avenues as to how do you get the word out. You get it out by word of mouth, you do it by social media. I go into establishment and they say, hey, people came here because they saw us on your post. And then also, how do you attract new businesses also? I believe also that, you should incentivize, offer them some type of incentives or something to attract them, the type of businesses that we want here in Port Royal that fits within the scope of Port Royal. We're not looking for a big box. Port Royal is not a big box community. We thrive on the small business owners and so forth. And how do we get them? How do we attract them? We let them know that if you take this step, we're willing to do this here because we want your business. We want to earn your business. And that helps to grow our economy. And so I do support them. I believe in incentivizing them and giving them some type of tax break or whatever it is, just to attract the type of businesses that we desire here in Port Royal.
Question number 3.
All right, good evening. Without the passage of the recent Beaufort County penny tax for transportation projects, what do you believe are the priorities for infrastructure improvements and how can they be funded?
Mary Beth, that's you
Okay,
first.
I thought so. Well, I do believe that a penny sales tax on gasoline would help because you would be getting not only the citizens, but you would be getting vacationers here, and it wouldn't be putting the burden only on the citizens. And so I'm in favor of doing a gasoline tax. I don't think that medicine or food should be included in that tax because I think that a lot of the elderly people live on Social Security and they're unable to make their meals now, and I think we have to be very, very careful with that. But I would definitely say put a penny on sales tax for gasoline and let everybody pay their fair share because people from all areas come here, so let them share in the burden.
In response to your question also, I do support the penny tax also, and we're fortunate that we do not pay taxes on food. I believe that it should be that way with any necessity, that we shouldn't have to be taxed on necessities. However, I think the penny tax will be beneficial to us, particularly Port Royal's the speedway and the crossway through Hilton Head. And we have a lot of major intersections where we have severe accidents. That penny tax could assist in making improvements to those intersections and getting traffic through Port Royal, making it a safer place. And again, talking about the infrastructure, you know, supporting the infrastructure and creating, what's that, Waddell and Ribault Road, or Ladies Island Drive and Ribault Road, Savannah Highway and Roberts Malls Parkway, all of those things can be enhanced with the penny tax.
Turn. Yeah, I was actually just on the phone with Brian Sullivan from Palmetto Breeze Transit about like an hour and a half ago. And we were talking about like what is to come, like what could possibly come here for, you know, with this penny tax, and also with us being the location we are with Hilton Head Island. And I know a lot about those kind of things too for my business. I used to deliver over to Hilton Head and kind of know how it works. But you know, that company delivers so many, these worker bees commute from St. Helena, from Estill, from all over. And when we get this development going here, that's going to be huge. But one thing we talked about that was really exciting and fun, because I'm all about fun, is that the possibility of a ferry from Port Royal to Hilton Head and back. And then also a bike share through that company. I think that's really cool. And so, yeah, I support the penny tax too, because I support that company.
Recently, funding was revoked from Beaufort County Economic Development Corporation. What is your view on Port Royal's plan to grow and promote businesses throughout the town, especially outside of the downtown area?
Daryl, you're first.
Yes, we were a part of the Beaufort County Economic Committee. We contributed $42,000 annually. And we do support economic growth in Beaufort County. But when we sat down as a council, we wanted to focus on bringing businesses into Port Royal. A lot of the businesses that the commission was looking at, of course, is out in the industrial areas and outskirts of Beaufort and so forth. And of course, that benefits us as well. But again, what can we do to enhance businesses? To withdraw our funding for a year and set up an office where we can bring in business owners and train them and teach them and help them to establish businesses and promote themselves, and use that funding to promote our small businesses right here in Port Royal.
Angie?
Okay, well, so out at Grover Hill Road, there are neighborhoods out there with all these young families. And so saying that, you know, anyway. So I would like to focus more on those outskirts. I really would. I think we're doing really cute here. We've got a lot of development that's about to happen right here on the waterfront, and that is enough. And out there, there are kids, we saw when we were riding around doing door knocks, they're riding their bicycles up to the Dollar General store, and they've got to go by scary little areas that aren't safe, that don't look safe to me anyway, and I would not want my kids having to do that. I think we need to put more into those areas out on the outskirts. That's just my opinion.
Mary Beth?
Okay. Yes, we did. We did withdraw for this year and held. We wanted to use that money to try to get some small businesses on Paris and on the Ribault Road corridor, because we're all about trying to help within Port Royal. And the money that we spent, it's not that we didn't appreciate or that we might not go back with them, but right now we want to focus on Port Royal. We want to be good stewards of Port Royal's money, and by putting that money toward having big box places out in the industrial area is not really helping Port Royal per se. We do appreciate the Economic Development Group that got us the USDS grant, and that'll be a big help for us down here. And like Mr. Owen said earlier, we did rent, as of January, 2 buildings that we will be doing an incubation area to start with, like restaurant artists, trying to get them to get their foot in the door to see if they could make it and be able to get their own brick and mortar in our area. Thank you.
Do you believe that the goals of the moratorium on multifamily housing, which expires soon, were accomplished? For example, the moratorium ordinance cited development code updates and public safety improvements. If you do support it, how? If you don't support it, what else needs to be done? Or, I'm sorry, if the goals weren't accomplished, If you don't believe the goals were accomplished, what needs to be done?
Will you read that one more time, Tim?
Sure, I screwed that up completely. Do you believe that the goals of the moratorium on multifamily housing were accomplished? If so, how were they accomplished? And if they weren't accomplished, what else needs to be done?
From what I understand, they were accomplished. I believe that they were kind of stopped, and that anything that goes further will hopefully be in character of Port Royal, will not be some ugly thing that we're looking at when we're driving by, that we will all be proud to have in our community. So that's just all I know about it right now. I did live in the apartments at Integra at Wrights Point while we were looking for our home, and I think they did a good job there. However, I know that people there on the waterfront, I can understand that they were very upset about that coming in. So I get it from both sides. I understand. So I'm kind of glad it stopped.
I do believe that the moratorium did help. What we wanted to do is to slow down some of the multi-developments in Port Royal and have a chance to really regroup and figure out what we needed to do to help our community. One of our issues in Beaufort County as a whole is housing. And so we have to stop and think about that. We need housing, and what can we do to make it better? And I think putting the moratorium on for now to give us time to really think about all of that, because it's all going to tie in together. And I think what we need to do is work as a region and come back. But I do believe 100% that the moratorium did work and slowed down the development. But anybody that had their application in to build multi were able to build it. It was just at that time, from that day forward, they weren't. But yes, it did work.
Yes, I do believe the moratorium was effective. Growth is here, growth is coming. We're not going to stop it. However, we can sit back and assess what's coming and ensure that it fits within this scheme of what we desire here in Port Royal. As I said, we can't stop it, but then we can pump the brakes and say, let's take a look at this here. Look at our codes. Do these development align with our codes? And ensure now those that were in the pipeline, they received their permit. Those that were not in the pipeline, well, we had an opportunity to revisit our codes and strengthen our codes and say, hey, this is what we want in Port Royal. So they're going to come, and I believe that just halting or slowing down those multifamily developments, the moratorium was effective.
Okay, follow-up question, yes or no? Do you believe the moratorium should be extended again?
We'll go in the same order. Angie starting.
Oh, me again? Okay. Do I believe it should extend, like
Should
to
be
last longer? I do. I do. Is that a yes or no question?
Yes.
Yes.
Mary Beth?
Yes.
Daryl?
We've extended it already, and we've already had an opportunity to revisit our codes, and we've already taken action on the visitation on those codes. I believe it's been effective, so I say no.
On to the sixth question, and Mary Beth, you'll start this time.
Since reaching a settlement agreement with Safe Harbor, do you believe that the port development is on the right track? And what are the key components moving forward to ensure it benefits the community economically in balance with environmental protection?
Yes, I do. We have had several negotiations with them, met with them multiple times. They will be coming, I think, in December to show their plan of what they've done. And the way we've assured it is most of our stuff has been put in the development agreement, so it's signed. And we will be able to have a waterfront so that the people can enjoy it, the promenade deck. It'll have green space down there that we'll be able to use. And then up in the residential areas, we were able to, instead of having multifamily up there, which did not fit the texture of our neighborhoods, we were able to say that they can only do 15% of rentals in that area, and they agreed upon that. And so I think that what we have done, and I think it will be beneficial to the community, and I think we will all, if everything goes off smooth, which I believe it will because it is in the DA and it's in writing. So yes, I do agree with it.
It's no secret, we did start off on a rocky road with Safe Harbor. And we were able to amicably sit down and come to agreement and establish a partnership with them. And they understand now, and they have a new management team that has actually partnered with Port Royal. We're holding them accountable that they will comply with the planned urban development, the PUD, and the development agreement. All those things that we addressed in there, the promenade, public space, rentals, they have addressed. And as Mary Beth said also, they plan to bring and present to the town their master plan by December. And we will hold them accountable. We cannot dictate to them what they do on their properties as long as it falls within the ordinances of the town. But then again, also, we just ensure that they comply with the PUD and the DA.
Okay. Well, I'm very new at this, so I don't know what all y'all met on, and I've done as much research as I can. But what I see is like it's going forward, no matter what, it's going to go forward. But however, we can do it in a creative way. We could also stay in front of any kind of development. We can stay in front of what they're doing. We can be there before they break ground on anything. And it doesn't matter to me like, oh, well, this is, what they say they're going to do. Well, you got to be there. You have to be there and actually know and talk to them. And they call themselves Safe Harbor. So another thing I would like to do is do a Waterfront Wednesday where let's just see how safe the water still is after you do all this, because where is all this going to go? I used to could not eat shellfish. For years I couldn't. Crippled me. Moved here, I can eat it because I can eat any shellfish that comes out of this water right here. And so if something happens to this water and I can't eat shellfish anymore, I don't have to be on this panel to make moves.
Next question.
At the recent housing symposium, an expert shared data on the local housing crisis and stated that the solutions lie in the local policy changes. How do you think town council can address this issue?
Who's next?
Daryl, you're first.
How can town council address issues with affordable housing? Is the question?
I'll read it again. At the recent housing symposium, an expert shared data on local housing crisis and stated that the solutions lie in local policy changes. My question is, how do you think town council can address this issue?
I think council, again, we were talking about these multi-family units and developments and developers that wants to come into the Port Royal area. I think if we get a proposal from someone that wants to come in and build multi-family or some type of subdivision, that we can sit down with those developers and also, and as a town, and I go back to what I said earlier, offer them some type of incentive or something that a percentage of those construction will be designated for affordable housing. Now, what's affordable to you may not be affordable to me. I like the term more, is it obtainable housing? Can I obtain that housing? To afford a $1,200 a month rent is $5,000 a year annual salary. And so a lot of people are working multiple jobs so that they can afford to stay where they are in Beaufort and Port Royal. So again, offering some type of incentive or some type of tax break, meeting with these developers and see if they can allocate or lock in at least a certain percentage of obtainable housing for those that are having challenges. School teachers, fire workers, first responders, and so forth.
Right. I'm just going to kind of keep on going because I like what you say. So in talking with the transit guy today, Brian Sullivan from Palmetto Breeze, he was telling me about how most of the people that commute on their transit system are low income. They can't afford a car to get to their work, and they work at these, they're all in hospitality, landscaping, over at these resorts, Hilton Head and Bluffton. And so maybe I'm getting off on a tangent, but it's just really big on my heart right now after just being on the phone with him, that I can just see that there's something there that we can do. in working with a company like that and the penny tax, and just and the council, I guess. So how are we going to help? Is actually going there and like talking to these people and actually getting to know who they are and what they actually really need. You know, because they're not coming to these meetings, you know, and so they need to be heard. And that's where my, you know, my social media presence is really good at that.
Okay. I just got back from Utah, Salt Lake City, and one of the big topics out there was housing. And it's a region problem. And I think as a region, we need to address the housing issue. And it's not just housing, it's daycare. So those two are in combination. And so when we start looking for affordable housing, we have to worry about daycare for those same people to live. And like Mr. Owen said, you know, what might be affordable for you might not be obtainable for me. So we need to work together, and I'm willing to work and do what we can. I'm on a regional board, Low Country Council of Governments, and there's grants out there that we could obtain to help us, and I think that's where we need to go. Start looking at the grants that can help us to build a community to help people.
All right, we have 2 more questions this evening, and Angie, you'll start first on this one.
How do you see Port Royal working with other municipalities and regional organizations to address shared challenges?
To address.
Shared challenges. Shared challenges, but that they both share.
Right. The town and the public?
The
Yes.
town and the regional, other municipalities.
Right, so that's me. I love to be a bridge. Everywhere I've ever gone, I've always been just kind of like right at the right place at the right time, just can feel what people are thinking and needing. And when I drive through places, I just notice stuff, and I don't just drive by. I get out of the car and go find out what's going on. With my business, Pickles. I mean, I did that for years. I mean, like, what does your small business need? Like, how can I help you? Like, no dust settled on the jars of my products, because that would have been just a nightmare for me to think that I failed the store that I sold to. So in the same way, that's, you know, working for the community that I would be serving is the same way, no dust settling.
Can you repeat that question, please?
So how do you see Port Royal working with other municipalities and regional organizations to address challenges that they share?
Well, I think Port Royal does a good job. Years ago, Port Royal, Billy Coslin was the mayor of the town of Beaufort, and he and I sat down together and we started a meeting that turned from us to our town managers to our full councils. And right now, we meet once a quarter with the city of Beaufort, and our county legislative people come and visit with us. The school board has come and visited on those meetings. And I think what we've done a shared fire department, which has saved both Beaufort City and Port Royal money. And so I think what we're doing now, working together with municipalities so there's no culture shock running from one place to the other, is a great thing to do. And to bring the region in with it would be even better. So I'm proud of what we're doing today.
We are working with our neighboring municipalities. Every quarter, Port Royal and the city of Beaufort, we host a meeting, a public meeting together, and we sit down and we have an agenda and we talk about the challenges that faces both Beaufort and Port Royal. We do that collectively and as a sister city. Not only that, I don't know what exactly on the top of my head right now what the acronym, but SOLOCAL. We are part of SOLOCAL. That's made up of 7 municipalities: Bluffton, Hilton Head, Beaufort, Ridgeland, Jasper, Yemassee, and I think Hardyville. All of those municipalities meet on a monthly basis with the SOLOCAL, and they talk about topics that affects them. And we find that we share a lot of those commonalities. So it's already happening.
All right, I think this is the last question. As an elected leader, what would you do to ensure our region's military installations have the support that they need to execute and expand their military missions?
Well, I think we already do. We have a representative on the Military Enhancement Board, and we would do what we need to because we need the military bases here. It's a big economic boost for us to have them here. They shop here. They visit your stores here. They're the ones that help. There's just as many of them as there is us, and I think it's very important, and I know that Port Royal will be the first to jump up and say, we have 2 military bases here, and we're willing to do what we need to do. If we have to go to Washington like we've done in the past, we're willing to do that to keep our military bases.
Port Royal, Beaufort County, this state has advocated for the military, and we support them and we appreciate them. My father's a retired Marine. That's why I didn't go into the military, because I grew up with a Marine. But they're well respected, and we have 3 military installations here in Beaufort County to be proud about, and and 2 of which resides in Port Royal, the U.S. Naval Hospital and Parris Island. And I think they know that we support them, but it doesn't start with only us. We need to continue to work with our legislators who will rally and support and join in also in ensuring the existence of our military installations here in Beaufort and Port Royal.
Yes, for me, I live right at the Bristol Bell Bridge, and out my back door I can see the Parris Island Bridge. I can hear every morning when they're doing the guns firing off and all. I was watching the other day, and maybe I don't sound so like government-y, but I was watching the other day just off my back porch. They were, working on our palm trees, like trimming the palm trees over the Russell Bridge. And I thought to myself, like, where are the flags? Like, we should have flags. We should have, like, it should be that. It should be more patriotic here. It should be like, oh, you're right here. Do you realize what's over there? A lot of people, like, when they come here, believe it or not, they're not military people, and they don't know what Parris Island is. And to have that knowledge, like when they're coming over that bridge, when they're coming into town, and to know this is a very special place. This is where people don't realize when they're going over that bridge, they think they're going to an island and they're going to boot camp, or they're, it ain't fun. It ain't fun stuff, and it's all for us. And it would be really nice to have something more substantial in Port Royal in the Shell Point area. I can see that, because that's kind of where they enter and leave. Just to say, like, we really do thank you.
Those are all the questions that we prepared this evening. We're doing very well on time, so I'm going to ask our timekeeper to give 3 minutes for each closing statement, and this might allow you all a little extra time to talk about an issue or a topic that we did not get to in one of our questions that you want to make sure that you cover today. Daryl, you were first.
I think you all were very comprehensive. I think you covered some of everything, all the hot topics and so forth. I am honored to have had this opportunity to address the community, my constituents. Port Royal is a great place to be. A lot is happening in Port Royal. We serve with the Municipal Association, and we travel across the state, and we meet with 271 towns and municipalities. We hear the horror stories. All eyes across this state is on Port Royal. Great things are happening in Port Royal, and they recognize that. There are municipalities that have law enforcement that's ushering them out or arresting them because they're uncivil. We believe in civility. We have an excellent council. We've accomplished a lot. We've heard the people. We listen to the people, and we're implementing a lot of those concerns from the people. And we wish to continue that, and I wish to continue to be a part of that, because Port Royal is a great place not only to live, but to be, to raise your family. And we're all family. As I said, I came here, they welcomed me with pies and cake when I came here. I had a neighbor when I relocated to this side of Port Royal. We had dinner together. She invited me up, and they cooked, and we sat and we fellowshiped and so forth. We sit on the porches and we talk to everybody. Everyone knows everybody by name. There are great things happening in Port Royal. We pride on our military also. Monthly, about 5,000 to 6,000 people are military graduate from Paris Island, so everybody knows that Beaufort is a military town. And so Port Royal is a military town. Port Royal is a retired town. Port Royal is a family town. And we want to cater to everyone here in Port Royal.
Yes, for me, I'm just going to keep it short this time. But I'm just so thankful that everybody is here and that that I'm here, because it was kind of a big deal for me to just decide to do this. I wasn't running against anyone. Really, my husband was like, "Hey, there's 2 seats open. Saw it in the paper," and I'm like, he goes, "You've always been supposed to do this." You know, when we were in Athens, everybody wanted me to be mayor of Athens. It was kind of funny. Not everybody. I wouldn't say everybody. But I got asked all the time, "You need to run. You need to run. You need to run." And no, I have 3 kids. So we waited till our kids were old enough and out of the house. And I'm here, and I have the time, and I am super passionate, if you cannot tell, that, and I listen to people. And so I'm here to listen and to learn. I'm only as smart as everybody in this room and everybody collectively in this community that I hope to serve. And so if I am able to serve, if I'm elected, I've got you. I promise.
Thank you. I just want to say thank you to everybody that showed up tonight. It is very important that you hear all of us speak and know where our concerns are. And as a native of Port Royal, I've been here, and I've always said from the first time I ran, I was going to be the voice of the people. And I am proud to say that the people have reelected me for 34 years because I have been the voice of the people. I listen to the people, and I am a proven leader in our community. And I will say that we have one of the best councils now. We communicate. All our knowledge and expertise together has put us where we are today, and we've been able to accomplish what we've accomplished. This year, even everything that we have done for Port Royal, and I don't know if you know this, but we were able to roll back our millage 2 mills this year. That's great. How many towns can say they get along, let alone roll their mills back, and still accomplish what we accomplished? We're proud of what we are. I'm proud to be here. I raised my family here. My daughter went to school here. My grandchildren have gone to school here. And I'm proud to say I followed in my grandmother's footsteps. In 1964, she was the mayor pro tem of the town of Port Royal. And so my family has big ties to Port Royal. Port Royal is my heart. When I retired, I said I was going to spend all the time I could meeting and talking to the people that I didn't get to talk to or go to school with. I want to hear those concerns. I go everywhere, and I'm at every event that I can be at, because I feel like if we're asking the community to engage with us, we have to engage with the community. Thank you all for being here. Thank you for your support, and I hope to see y'all November the 4th voting Mary Beth Gray Hayward. Thank you.
All right, please give them a round of applause. That concludes tonight's candidates forum. Candidates, will you hang around for just a little while in case folks would like to mix and mingle with you? Wonderful. The Beaufort Regional Chamber of Commerce is proud to host this. Thank you everyone for your participation, especially these candidates, these panelists, the chamber team and ambassadors, and all of you for being engaged voters. So spread the word that anyone can watch this online through both the chamber and the town's Facebook pages, and we're going to get it uploaded to YouTube and to the county channel as well. So be voices to encourage voting, which of course will take place next Tuesday, Election Day, on November 4th. And early voting started on October 20th, so you can take advantage